Okay, today's sermon is about living our authentic truths and having the courage to do so. And as we were all born in a world that was highly constrictive of who we are and what we anticipate and what we try to be, we, especially in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, there's a rigid structure in society where everyone was expected to fit into a box of both their performative energy as far as how they act and their behavior, as well as their looks and their physical appearance. And there was a really strong reduction of everyone who could be a person, and everyone was expected to be a certain way. And if you didn't fit into that certain way of being, whether you were born with a different skin color or a different sexuality or with a heart that was more creative or really any number of things that wasn't fitting into the rigid structure, you are constantly, and still are, shamed and guilted into being something less than you truly are. So today we're talking about our true heart's expression and how can we find the courage to live that and go against the grain and be true to ourselves. So when we're true to ourselves, it creates a conflict. And it creates a conflict with those people around us because they're expecting us to be smaller than we are or to fit into a box and to maintain a level of conformity so that other people feel comfortable. And as you step out of that and become your true self, you're going to make other people uncomfortable because there's a level of uncertainty and of fear that comes in because people are so used to living in a conformist way that they don't actually even know. And we've also been preconditioned and pre-programmed to shame and be fearful of the authentic self. So some people are more successful at fitting into this box. Some people naturally resonate with the standard way of being, but other people it's very difficult. And the thing is that whether it's easy or difficult, when you repress your true self and you try to fit into a box, you're actually creating illness within yourself. And that's going to come out in a number of ways. It'll come out in a physical illness like cancer or a heart attack or things like that. Eventually, later on in your life, if you've been constantly repressing your true self, or it can come out just in the way where people don't think of you as an authentic person, or there's something off about you, and people don't accept you because you're trying. The harder you try to have people accept you, you might not fit in still, and that might even be more and more apparent. That's my case. As I grew up, I tried really hard to fit in, and I tried really hard to be accepted by everybody. I did all of the check boxes. I tried as hard as I could to fit into the boxes, and the more I tried, the more people could see through that, and I just became more and more ostracized and strange. So really what we're trying to do here is live our authentic truths. And when I'm talking about your authentic truth and your true heart, I'm talking about your unique energy that you bring to earth as a gift. So each person has the gift of their unique personality, and when we think about the diversity of a garden and the benefits of a diversity of a garden, that's one of the best metaphors for this, because in our society, we have planted fields of the same crop. We have fields of corn, fields of beets, fields of cotton. We have fields of all the same crop, and then it becomes prone to pests because and it strips the soil. It's not a diverse system, and it's actually not the best way to grow food. And it's the same with our society. It's the same with each person. So we try to fit everybody into the same box and have everybody going to work in the same way and everybody behaving and acting in the same way and looking in the same way. But that's actually going to create a lot of disease. True harmony comes from diversity. And each of us has a key, a unique key in our hearts for who we really are that goes up into the divine and comes out and is expressed through our unique way of being. And when we repress that, it becomes convoluted and confusing, and sometimes even negative or violent or detrimental. So in the repression of it, so you might be thinking, I can't be my true self because my true self would kill everybody at my job. I can't be my true self because my true self would just be very blunt and say what I mean and everyone would be mad at me. Or, maybe you have another reason why you feel like you can't be your true self because it might be too much or too big. But that comes from the fact that you've been repressing it all this time. So there's an adjustment period. And you know, as we tap into our true hearts and we find out who we really are, there's every single person's true heart is in alignment with everyone else's. When we're all in alignment, we play a beautiful melody together on this planet. And the discord comes only from repression and from not really expressing. So as long as you keep in mind not to harm anybody, including yourself, that's your guiding principle, and you just focus on finding out what your true heart really wants, you're going to be living a much better life. As you are creating a false reality based on fear and insecurity, you'll be telling lies to people around you. You'll say, whether you're doing it through your appearance or through your actions, or through you're telling lies even to your own heart. You know, when I was in middle school, I was so obsessed with fitting in, and I would go to the mall and try on clothes. This is when malls were a thing. And I would look in the mirror and I would run through the list of popular girls, and I would say, would Jamie like this? Would Sarah like this? And I would try to see through their eyes on my clothes, and I wasn't even making the decisions of what I actually liked or what I actually thought. I was trying so hard to live through the eyes of somebody else. So I was lying to myself about what kind of clothes I was wearing. I was lying to other people because I was wearing clothing that I was trying to show was reflective of me, but it was actually reflective of what I thought other people would like. So this creates illness. It also creates conflict when you're authentic and when you're in your truth. So when you're choosing between these two things, when you're choosing between either living a false reality or you're choosing between living your authentic self, the difference is that living your authentic self is harder because you're not going to be fitting into societal structure. You're going to be more challenging to people around you, but it's also more rewarding because you're going to be unlocking the rewards of your own true heart, which means you're going to be unlocking the bounty of your true wishes and your true the things that you actually want. So if you're going to a job that you hate because you think your parents will be proud of you, you might have material success in that way. But if it's hurting you every day and you actually are suffering because your true heart is not in alignment with that job, then there might be an adjustment period of you saying, listen, screw this. I'm not going to work this job that I don't actually resonate with. I'm going to open up my heart and I'm going to be doing the work of my true heart. Maybe, it's just a completely different type of job. And that's going to be challenging for your family to maybe accept. But in the end, it's going to be much, much, much more rewarding for your soul and for the thing that really matters, which is your energy. The true wealth is your energy every day. Is your energy every day in a bountiful, joyful state, or is it in a suffering state? And that's more important than any other form of confused wealth that we have on this planet. So how do you listen to your true heart? You say, yes, Unicole, I want to listen to my true heart, but I don't even know what my true heart is. Maybe I've been living in societal structure for so long, I don't even know where to begin. Well, there's a couple things that you can do. You can isolate yourself, spend time every week that's just on your own, looking at, just sit in silence. Don't watch TV. Don't listen to music. Sit and feel who you really are, what you really would want to do. Meditate on the life that you would like to be living in the future, of what you would like your day-to-day to look like. See people who inspire you, and instead of feeling bad that they're doing something that you're not, see the part of yourself that's crying out, this can be me too. I can also do this. It takes a lot of self-love. So to stand up for who you are and to be your authentic self, you have to love yourself enough to set the boundaries of other people's interpretations of what you're doing. And you have to love yourself enough to give yourself the energy that you deserve and give yourself the life that you deserve, because it's not self-loving to live your life by someone else's standards. Your own consciousness is your own domain. Your life is yours to guide. If you think someone else is telling you what to do and you think they're right, that's only because it's resonating with you. You are the only person who can know these things. Dream big. Do not be limited by external society. Do not be limited by societal structures. Do not be limited by the things that you think you can or cannot do. Spend time in contemplation every day. If you can, every week, if that's as little as you can do it. Write it out, draw it out, see your future, see your path, see what your true heart desires. And the way to find out what your true heart desires is by listening to your whim. You can go back into your childhood. You can remember the things that made you truly joyous as a child. How do you lose time? You know, how do you find yourself totally enraptured by an activity where you don't even know what's happened and you've just created something or you've just done something that has truly brought you joy? Is your body feeling like it's flying when you think about it? If your body feels like it's sinking and you're feeling dread and you're like, well, I'm going to go to law school because I really think that's what my true heart wants, and you feel like you're going to throw up, then that's not what your true heart wants. That's your mind tricking you. So feel your body. Your body has the guide in it to align yourself with what you really want to do. And practice being okay with the consequences. There's going to be a transition period. Maybe you have a group of friends who you really think are so cool, and then you start doing something that's in alignment with your true heart, and they all drop off and stop talking to you. Well, that's either one of two things. That's one, they're in a fear or shame-based place where they're afraid to even associate with you because you're bringing up a reflection in them, you're showing their shadows of the fact that they're not in alignment with their true self. Or at the root, their authentic self is not in alignment with your authentic self either. And so either of those two things, there's nothing you can do. That's not your responsibility to try and fix. So if you become your true self, your relationship ends, you have to move to a completely different part of the world, all of your friends are no longer your friends, that's a transition state, and you have to practice being okay with that. Because after a period of time of being authentic, you will start to attract the things of your true heart. You will start to attract the things of your true vibrancy. And this is going to be a much more authentic and rewarding life than the one that you had before. So it's very scary. You might have new hobbies, new friendships, new relationships. And the one part that's very difficult that we often can't let go of is our families. So our families are going to be in our lives, and they might be very unaccepting of your lifestyle changes or of your choices of becoming your radically true self. But the best thing that you can do to counter that is to just bring to your family as much joy as you can, and acceptance and unconditional love as you can master. If you unconditionally love yourself and you don't let their shame or guilt get into your mind, and you just project that unconditional love onto your family and say, I love you for who you are, I love myself for who I am, we can be in harmony, then there's a good chance that you're actually, over time, going to shift your family's perception to a more accepting place, because you will be the light in that dark room. It is extremely courageous to break out of your programming and to be considered weird or be an outcast, but the rewards will be things that your true heart really, really, really does desire. It's all the things that you truly crave and all the whims that you have. So resonate on the frequency of truth and let all the other things in your life drop away. Be okay with that. Recognize that that's a good thing that's happening, because as you resonate in the energy of truth for your true heart and your true desires, then you're going to be creating the world that is actually the one that you're meant to, the path that you're meant to be on. And you will get so many rewards of authenticity and of true victory that you can't even imagine. Thank you.
Thank you, Unicole.
Thank you so much for joining me for the very first live congregation. I started in 2012 and have been behind the computer for most of it. So thank you. We have refreshments in the kitchen, so I will join you there.